Trying to remember you is like carrying water in my hands a long distance across sand. Somewhere people are waiting. They have drunk nothing for days. Your name was the food I lived on. Now my mouth is full of dirt and ash. To say your name was to be surrounded by feathers and silk. Now, reaching out, I touch glass and barbed wire. Your name was the thread connecting my life. Now I am fragments on a tailor's floor. I was dancing when I learned of your death. May my feet be severed from my body. That's a poem by Dobyns, last name Dobyns. He's a mystery writer and a poet. And this poem came to mind as I was thinking about Palm Sunday. One of the things that I've been thinking about is that when Jesus came into Jerusalem and on his way to be crucified, he almost could help no one the way they wanted to be helped. In a few short days, everyone would abandon him, and he would die. Die with a desperate cry on his lips. A cry that reminded me of this. Your name was the food I lived on. Remember when Jesus was in the wilderness tempted by the devil, and the devil said, turn these rocks into loaves of bread, and Jesus said, we'll live by the word that comes from the Lord. To say your name, the poem says, was to be surrounded by feathers and silk. Then Jesus there on the cross, crying out for his Father, I touch glass and barbed wire. And those of us who are struggling right now with our faith or connecting with God, your name was the thread connecting my life, the poem says. Now I'm fragments on a tailor's floor. All the things that we've trusted and tried to put our hope in, does it connect us? Or are we scattered in a pile on the floor? The Sunday of the Passion, or Palm Sunday, can be celebrated either simply as a procession of psalms and the banging of the drums, the playing of trumpets. It can also be followed quickly by a reading of the Passion. And then there's the Holy Week time, which with the Good Friday and Maundy Thursday solemnities, the darkness of Easter Vigil followed by the brightness of Easter. It's helpful for us in these times when maybe we don't have a lot of hope, or when we're grieving the form of our life that seems to have passed, to think about what it means to have faith, what it means to be walking through this valley, what it means when we feel like this poet feels that the name of God was the food that we lived on, but now that name is full of dirt and ash. Maybe you're not feeling that way. Maybe you're feeling even more faithful now than you had before, because God's name is the thread holding your life together, keeping you from falling into fragments on the floor. But sometimes it's okay to wail and to rage against God, as we do in the Psalms. It's like that when you're a child and you wail and rage against your parents. It's good to be able to and feel free to express yourself to God, because God is a great comforter and will see you through all your valleys. Jesus on the cross wailed, raged, wondered, my God, why have you forsaken me? Or breathing his last, he says, it's finished. We'll have a lot of time over the next week to contemplate these things, especially in the midst of our lives where we're surrounded by so much uncertainty, so much death, so much trial. But I believe the name of God, God's presence among us, even in times of difficulty, is not diminished. Rather, the times that we feel our life falling into fragments on the floor, the moment where God will scoop us up, to weave us, knit us, sew us into a beautiful new garment. And that when we are the water in hands, dribbling into the sand. Perhaps that is God watering us in the parched places, calling down rain on those who are thirsty, giving people to drink from the well of life. It's our duty now in our Christian way of loving to think about how, despite our social distancing, we can help one another. So I'm asking you to reach out to the people that you know, to your loved ones, your elderly people down the hall, whomever it is that you know and you believe you can help and see. Carry the water of hope in your hands. Offer it to drink to those who are thirsty. And remember always, the name of God is with us, and God's word does not fail. Trust in God's word. Be strong. Take heart. Amen.